Welcome to another Simply Answers video. Today we're going to just do a quick overview of iOS 7 for iPad. For many people this will probably be a review in terms of it's going to be very similar to iOS 7 for iPhone and iPod. And it's been out a little while for iPad, but we just thought we'd give a brief overview for you iPad users out there that use your iPad primarily over any other device. So as we're going to go to the lock screen here, so you can take a look at that. The lock screen, if you're not familiar with iOS 7, is very, very different. So you can do a couple things from the lock screen now. So you can swipe down from the top and you would have access to your notification center to see everything that's going on in terms of your meetings, temperatures and stuff like that. So that's the cool thing about notification center. You can swipe up from the bottom and you can have access to control center. So from here you can do everything from turning on and off your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You can access your clock just with the tap of a button, as well as your camera. So and the nice thing with iPad is it utilizes the bigger screen very nicely, to where it takes up the full real estate and really makes it easy to access these buttons. Now if we want to slide to unlock, we can slide from anywhere and access the home screen. And again, if you're not familiar, it's going to be rather different looking than what we're familiar with. A lot of the apps have gotten a makeover as well. A lot of the stock apps from Apple. If you actually just look up here at the kind of the top left-hand corner, you can see the clock. It's actually animated, showing you real-time clock information, so that's kind of cool. If we go into the calendar, it's got a bit of an upgrade. Obviously it looks different, but it functions a little bit differently. You can actually scroll through a little bit easier and nicer than before. Before you'd really have to jump from month to month. Now it really just gives you a nice scrolling feature that you can see things really easily and really simply and just kind of go at your own pace. Let's go ahead and turn on Do Not Disturb here. Another app that's gotten a bit of a facelift is the camera app. So if we go into camera, and we'll show you this nice view of course, a wall and a chair here, but what you're going to look at is over here on the right side. So the button's actually going to be right by your hand, so you don't have to search for your shutter button. There it is, it's right there, so it'll be right by your thumb, ready to take a picture. If you want to switch to video, you just scroll this down to where it says video, and you'll see a switch. Then if you actually want to change your orientation for when you're taking a picture, you're going to go to square, and it changes your picture's orientation. So that's a really kind of a cool feature there. Of course, your camera flip button's in the top right hand section, and then your library is in the bottom right hand section. So that's a really nice little upgrade for camera in terms of where they put the controls. A little bit easier to access, to where you're not crossing your hand over the screen. All the stores have gotten a facelift. So if we go into the App Store, you see the same general overall theme, but the App Store just looks a lot nicer. And of course, the great thing with iOS 7 is your apps will automatically update for you. So no longer do you have to go into the update section and manually update everything. It will automatically happen in the background, so you don't have to worry about keeping up with your apps. It will also let you find any apps that are near you, so whether that would be Starbucks apps or anything like that. So it will show you stuff that's relevant to your location. You can look at your updates, any updates that are done. You see all these updates are already finished, and all I have to do is open the app. So that's a nice thing about the App Store. Multitasking has gotten a nice facelift, and with the bigger screen of the iPad, it just kind of is really natural looking. So I'll just double tap the home button, and you see here's all the apps that I have running in the background right now. If I want to close one, I just swipe up to close the app that is currently running, and that's a really nice feature in terms of multitasking. It uses the screen space just in a really nice fashion. While we're right here, we can go into the music app, and right here you actually see iTunes Radio. So this is Apple's kind of alternative to Pandora. You can of course add stations based off artist, genre, songs, or you can kind of follow their tips up here at the top, whether it's 80s dance party or trending on Twitter or anything like that. So the nice thing with iTunes Radio is it integrates with iTunes, so you can just buy a song right there in the top right hand corner. Pretty much all your stock apps have gotten facelifts in terms of the way they look and a little bit of how they function. The core functionality of the iPad is exactly the same though. So for those of you who are a little bit concerned that the functionality might change or be a new learning curve, I wouldn't worry about it. There's just going to be a couple new tricks here or there that will help it make it better for you. But overall, the iOS 7 on iPad is very, very nice. and it works very well. The nice thing with Safari here specifically is now the search bar up here on the top, it's a unified search bar. So no longer do you have your address bar and like a Google bar up right next to it. It's all one bar now. So from here, you can do a Google search. You can type in an address if you'd like to, all just from one bar. So they've tried to really simplify things in terms of that regard. You can still do things like separating out your keyboard. And one nice thing also is if you press and hold down the dot, you can now access .com, .edu, .us, .net, .org. So no longer is there a .com button. You just go ahead and press and hold this down and find the one that you need to find, and then that will do that for you. So that's just a nice little handy update as well in terms of iOS 7. So this is just a kind of a brief overview. If you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to us. It's nothing world-breaking in terms of what we've seen in the past, especially with iOS 7 for iPhone. It's basically the same, but obviously for a bigger screen. So this, hopefully, for you iPad users, this will kind of get you an idea of what to expect when iOS 7 comes out in the fall. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Just get to us at facebook.com/simplymac, twitter.com/simplymacstore, or of course you can always just reach out to us directly. Just a good email is social@simplymac.com. So thanks for joining us.